It has to do with confirmation bias, right? I hear this all the time. Man, I talked to this attorney and he said that all chiropractic bills get cut 50%. I talked to this attorney and he said he doesn't use chiropractors because chiropractors can't get paid. I talked to this one attorney and he said, you guys are taking advice or taking advice from like one person and making that like law of the land. That's called an anchoring bias or confirmation bias. So that leads me to my, oh wait. I want to go live on here. Second. Just want to go live in the group here. All right, back on track. So they just talked to, again, this is Mark Slater. Welcome to Prime Spine Consulting's live Q&A. Today is Monday, October 3rd. Welcome to today's live Q&A. Just rehashing, I want you to find out where this pops up in your life. It's called confirmation bias. So what is confirmation bias? Well, I gave an example a second ago as to, well, I talked to this one attorney and he said that all chiropractors are going to get their bill cut by 50%. I talked to this one attorney and he said that, I mean, you're taking data from one data point and drawing a conclusion, and that's called a confirmation bias. So I'm going to hammer on this a little bit, and I want you to figure out, like, where is this showing up in your life? Confirmation bias. So here. And by the way, I have a lot of clients in Florida. Ironically, one is named Ian. So if you're in Florida, I hope you're doing well. I hope you got through probably a horrible and scary weekend. I hope your family, friends are all safe. I just want to give a shout out to all my clients down in Florida who were affected by Hurricane Ian. So if that was you, was thinking about you. You know, I lived in Florida. I'm a University of Florida Gator. So a lot of friends down there that were impacted by the hurricane. All right, so how confirmation bias works. So confirmation bias is the tendency to look for information that supports rather than rejects one's preconceptions, typically by interpreting evidence to confirm existing beliefs while rejecting or ignoring any conflicting data. And that's from the American Psychological Association. So where this pops up in my life is just like I explained. I'm talking to chiropractors on the phone, and they have all these biases based on beliefs, not based on data. So I'm going to expand on this and go into details about different types of confirmation bias. So types of confirmation bias. Biased search for information. This confirmation bias explains people's search for evidence in a one-sided way to support their hypothesis or theories. Experiments have shown that people provide tests or questions that are designed to yield yes if their favorite hypothesis is true, and ignore alternative hypotheses that are likely to give the same result. For example, if you were to search all cats are better than dogs in Google, all you would get are sites listing the reasons why cats are better. However, if you were to search are dogs better than cats, Google will only provide you with the sites that believe dogs are better than cats. This shows that phrasing questions is in a one-sided way, for example, in an affirmative matter, will assist you in obtaining evidence consistent with your hypothesis. So sometimes your question is flawed because it's asked in a biased way. The second part, and this is the next two are the most important, where this is going to show up. Biased interpretation. This type of bias explains that people interpret evidence with respect to their existing beliefs by typically evaluating confirming evidence differently than evidence that challenges their preconceptions. Various experiments have shown that people tend to not change their beliefs on complex issues even after being provided with research because of the way they interpret the evidence. Additionally, people are confirming evidence more easily and critically evaluate the disconfirming evidence. This is known as disconfirmation bias. When provided with the same evidence, people's interpretations could still be biased. Let's see. Okay, this is one that's really important. This shows up a lot. Biased memory. To confirm their current beliefs, people may remember or recall information selectively. Psychological theories vary in defining memory bias. Some theories state that information confirming prior beliefs is stored in the memory, while contradictory evidence is not. Some others claim that striking information is remembered best, like humor, something that strikes you. Memory confirmation bias also serves a role in stereotype maintenance. Experiments have shown that mental association between expectancy confirming information and the group label strongly affects recall and recognition memory. We're a bunch of ambulance chasers. Everyone remembers that, therefore they have a negative bias towards chiropractors and personal injury. Though a certain stereotype about a social group might not be true for an individual, we're not ambulance chasers. We're helping people who have sustained injuries in motor vehicle accidents. Somebody has to treat these people. People tend to remember the stereotype consistent information better than any disconfirming evidence. So this is an interesting study. Participants were asked to read a woman's profile detailing her extroverted and introverted skills. An assessor for either a job of a librarian, kind of introverted, or a real estate agent, got to kind of be a little extroverted there. Those assessing her as a salesperson better recalled extroverted traits, while the other group recalled more examples of introversion. So again, that's biased memory. Okay, examples of confirmation bias. I don't want to get into a social media discussion. You know, we're all reading headlines based on maybe facts, maybe not, but whatever confirms our bias toward whatever side we generate to, you know, that's what we're going to take in. And then religious faith, you have biases there too. So implications of confirmation bias. It consistently shapes the way we look for and interpret information that influences our decisions in this society, ranging from homes to global platforms. This bias prevents people from gathering information objectively. And it goes in to talk about politics, recruitment, selection. What did I want to talk to about here? Yeah, a halo effect. So this one shows up in your life. The halo effect occurs when people use impressions from a single trait to form conclusions about other unrelated attributes. It is heavily influenced by the first impression. So if you had your first PI case and you got screwed by the attorney, that halo effect, your first impression, is going to continue on and it's going to bias your decisions. And maybe you stop taking PI cases because of that one incident, when in fact, it could have been the best decision you ever made to continue to pursue this work because you're basing it on very little data. Experiments have shown that when positive attributes are presented first, a person is judged more favorably than when negative traits are shown first. This is a subtype confirmation bias because it allows us to structure our thinking about other information using only initial evidence. I don't know, it's pretty interesting how your biases are formed and what we could do about changing those biases, okay? Because it can affect our decision-making if we don't have tools to combat cognitive bias, okay? There's 10 types. Anchoring, this is a tendency to jump to conclusions. You base your final judgment on information gained early on in the decision-making process. That was your anchor, or a first impression bias. Overconfidence bias, halo bias. You could do more research on this, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. Now, this is one, the gambler's fallacy. The gambler's fallacy is typically, Tony Robbins says this, your past doesn't equal your future. So let me explain. You expect past events to influence the future, right? Maybe you were screwed over on your first 3 PI cases. So in the long run, the stronger your belief can be that things will change the next time. But in fact, outcomes are highly uncertain. The number of successes that you've had previously or failures has little or no bearing on the future. Let me read that again. The number of successes or failures that you've had previously has little or no bearing on the future. So you can read more about bias just for gain and loss in this article here. So I get these biases in my calls with potential clients all the time. All attorneys are bad. Every single one that I've talked to is bad. Oh, okay, interesting. How many have you talked to? I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. Really, 3 or 4. You're using a tiny little sample size to make a broad statement or judgment or bias based on very little information. And because of that very little information, you quit seeking information. Now, I don't care what city you're in. Okay, for example, Oklahoma City, 739 people injury law. It's not a whole lot, but it's more than 3. So you can get this information in this program that I teach you to reach out to these attorneys on a massive scale every single day. You can get into these conversations and ask these questions and get rid of all your biases by asking questions. Here's another one. Even if you're in a small city, I say small city, if you don't have a professional sports team, you're a small city. Okay, I hope I didn't insult you. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. It's a podunk city, in my opinion. I lived there. It's not a bias. I was there for 18 years. Still 1,400 attorneys that I can get better information from because there's more data to be had. You're never going to have all the data. So you can't talk to everybody, but you can definitely talk to more than 3 or 4 or 5 to get real information, not just to confirm your pre-existing biases, but to get real information so that you can make a better decision. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. Find out where confirmation bias shows up professionally. I don't care about your personal beliefs. It's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm talking about your professional decisions in your business, right? You may have biases in your decision-making in the businesses based on nothing but beliefs. Business decision on facts and data, not your beliefs, because maybe your beliefs are wrong. Maybe your beliefs are wrong from a business perspective. Okay, I'm not going into a religious discussion, social media, political discussion. This has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about making business decisions, especially in personal injury. Okay. All attorneys cut the bill. You know what? 3 chiropractors told me that. They all cut the bill. Well, if you talk to my friend Evan Katz, this guy, and I'm going to show his website in just a second. Evan Katz is a DC in Boulder, Colorado. Evan Katz has never cut one personal injury bill. No, because the attorneys use his bill and his notes to get paid. But his notes are better than yours. His diagnoses are better than yours. But there's a way that you can have all of his notes and all of his reports and all the data that he uses. Some of it's for free. Let me show you this report, for example. So this is a sample narrative report. I know you've seen sample narrative reports as well, but Evan breaks it down so basically. He just says a narrative report should be like talking to a layperson. Explain to me in plain English what's going on with the patient, the pain, why they're here. Is there a direct causation with the accident and the injury? Just explain it to me. Okay. So patient, let me pull this up a little bit. So maybe you can read it. Oh, it's not working. All right. Patient is suffering from severe pathologies in her cervical spine from the motor vehicle crash. The pathologies are listed below. Loss of the cervical lordosis. He explains what that means. Okay. Cervical instability. Well, and then he explains the instability was evaluated with a digital motion X-ray. Excuse me, on X-ray, instability is determined, explains the whole thing in plain English. Facet damage. He talks about what the facets are. They make up one part of the cervical vertebra, they're pain generators. Okay, he's talking about all this stuff. All of the above pathologies that meet the name of the patient presented to my office are direct results of this motor vehicle crash. I have based my diagnosis on clinical impression for several. I mean, this is a well-explained narrative report. Okay, but let me show you the value of Evan Katz's website is the bibliography. So he's showing the patient's loss of cervical curve against a normal cervical curve. These are his submissions of evidence. Number one, number two, number three, whiplash produces an S-shaped curve, and he lists where it came from. Punjabi, 1997, spine. All of the information that was up here, he backed up with medical journals here. Okay. Michelle Sterling, PhD. JMPT is a physical therapy journal, Journal of Spinal Disorders and Techniques. So he's getting these from medical journals. So there, I saw the spine here, the name of the publication, spine here. So I can't find it, but there was one that had here, Journal of Neurosurgery. If you're a chiropractor and you're quoting medical journals like the Journal of Neurosurgery, this has to be addressed by the adjuster. Your attorney will love this because the adjuster now has to answer this. More documentation in this narrative. Okay, well, Mark, I don't know where to get all this stuff. I don't know. I don't read these journals. I know, of course you don't. You don't have to. Evan, Dr. Katz, has already done it for you. So this is his website. I'm going to show you right here. Professionally integrated. If you don't want your bills cut, if you want your notes to have an impact and you want these attorneys to take you seriously, I recommend you check out this website, professionallyintegrated.com. Now there's a free version. So you could go here and type in lordosis, for example. He's got the bibliography in here in his paid version, like in his gold version. He wants you to sign up. Do it. It's $100 a month. It's $100 a month, $1,200 for a year. I mean, if you could get 20, 30% better payouts or better offers on your final bill, or not get offers at all, just get your final bill paid, it's worth $1,200 a year. I don't get anything from this. I just want to help you guys. Evan knows he doesn't charge enough for this, but it's $100 a month right now, $1,200 a year. So on the paid version, all of these, he'll put in there. So on lordosis and all the information about lordosis, all of this stuff is going to be on here. All the bibliography, the research articles, copy and paste directly into your digital notes, all from this website. You don't have to do any research. You just have to quote where you're getting the research. Evan's done it for you. I want personal injury to be fun. And it's fun when you get your bill paid in full. And the way to do that is change, do things differently, do things better, learn something better and implement it. Knowledge is not, you guys have heard me say this before, knowledge is not power. Knowledge plus action is real power. Just wanted to give you this information on your biases, what you can do to prevent your biases showing up in your life so that you can make decisions not based on your beliefs, but based on real data. But I talk to doctors every day that are holding on to their biases or holding on to their excuses. Their excuses are little pets that they love, and it prevents them from taking action because they don't want to upset this fake pet that they have. You want to do better, make better decisions, make decisions based on data.